All right, I'm not gonna go over much, and I'll just open it up pretty quick to questions. But it dawned on us it had been about a month since we'd been together in Atlanta with some of us, most of us. So a lot's transpired in a short period of time, and I think it's more what's happened inside these walls. Our guys have been excellent. They've had a tremendous 3-week offseason. We're in a dead week this week because it's the week before exams. And then we'll get a chance to work out with them after their exams are over next week. But I think, in summing it up, last spring, when we came back from spring break, is when things really started to take shape in here. And the younger guys were driving the train even more so on the work ethic in the program. Christian was really starting to make a turn. There was no doubt about it. This was before the freshmen were even here. And we had an excellent spring. It carried right on into what turned out to be a great summer, and we had another very, very good fall, the best fall we had had. And it carried in, obviously, to the season that we had. There's been a reason, obviously a good reason, that we've had a shorter off-season program this spring, but the 3 weeks we've been together have been outstanding. And I think to a man, as far as the coaching staff, the staff of the people around them, I mean, they could just see the culture is continuing to shift, and it's shifting into an even higher gear. And when it comes to expectations, if this group last year would have been caught up in lack of expectation, there's no way that they would have ever worked the offseason the way that they worked it. And it's the same thing now. Whatever expectations are out there are really irrelevant to what their goals are, to what their own personal expectations are, and what they want to accomplish together. And I think that's what we're really trying to focus on right now. We've had a great spring. My job has been to just nitpick every little thing that we can inside of their games to make them better, to give them things to work on, to make them better individual players, to have all the different situations that they can control inside of ball screening, reading screens, the shooting, the driving game, adding things to their game, tweaking some things, making things better. That's really what our focus has been on with the team. And if there were 3 things that we need to get accomplished this off season, the individual improvement goes without saying. I wouldn't call that one of the 3. You can't get better if your guys aren't getting better individually. But what really has to get better is, number one, our strength. We've got to become a stronger team. And when we measure ourselves against the best players and the best teams, there were times where we weren't strong enough, whether it was just maturity-wise in body, whether it was age, or whether it was just plain willpower. Whatever it was, we've got to be stronger in more situations. We've got to have more thickness to us. We've got to have just more stability in that strength game. And we made tremendous strides a year ago with Coach Jackson having a full year here. And I think we'll even make that many more this year. Number 2, we've got to be able to win more one-on-one type of battles, whether it's a 50-50 ball, whether it's stopping somebody one-on-one, whether it's the ability to break somebody down, not be better one-on-one players, but win more one-on-one situations. And there's a difference. Because our ability to share the ball this year, our ability to move the ball, our ability to play through and at Cody and have so many people do so many good things and so many people jump in numbers can really take another step if we can get better in those individual matchups, if we can get better in those individual situations. And that's what this time of year is for. How much better are you getting? How much stronger are you getting? And then when you play, and this is the third thing for us to take a big jump, and this is the biggest on-the-floor aspect for us, is we've got to be better defensively. If we're better defensively, we'll be a better defensive rebounding team. We'll be even able to play at a faster pace because our defense will allow so many more things to happen for us. We'll be able to get out in transition that much more. We'll be able to create off turnovers that much more. And they all go hand in hand, especially the strength and the defense. So we're really preaching a lot about quality, not quantity right now. We're preaching improvement. But most importantly, we're preaching to the choir. I mean, we really are. They are absolutely locked in to what they need to do, and they're hungry. And that's that. I could see a hunger in this group a year ago, but they weren't quite sure where they were going with it. And I think this group right now, because they've tasted it, because there's going to be so much real competition that they can absorb, not that we talk about, but that they feel and absorb. I think that gives them even more room for growth, more room for enthusiasm, and more of a desire to improve. So we've had a very good spring in that respect. We felt the loss of Benny. I felt it probably the second individual that he wasn't there. And so proud of him and happy for him and being a head coach. And, you know, here's his mindset. I texted him today. I said, how are your individuals? He said, well, they're going to take another step today because now we have the hand pads and the football pads in. So, you know, the culture moves on. It travels. But we could feel him missing. But Calbert being out there with us has been really, really good, too, for him. It's been good for us. It's been good for the team. And we'll talk about the coaching situation in a second. But these guys are really, really at a high level of work right now. And I have no reason to believe that it's not going to carry on. But it has to. And that's the caveat. It has to. There's no room for anyone in this program to not get better. There's no room for any of them to rest on anything that they thought they did or think they're going to do. It's all based on continual improvement. And it'll be the same thing when the newcomers get here. This same exact thing. And now these guys have to go in to a mode of really, really teaching and demanding and holding these young guys accountable for what they're going to have to do to improve. Because the culture, like I said, is continually moving forward. It's escalating. And I love it. As far as the coaching search, Calbert, we're going to get through the rest of the week. We have a recruiting period this weekend. Calbert and I have been discussing what the next step is for him in the program, or to stay in the step that the place that he's at right now, which he very well may want to do. And I've got some people in mind if he does decide to stay into that position. And I'll move fairly quickly, I would think, once this recruiting period is up. And really not going to discuss the process of going about that, other than that there is a process. And I want it to move fairly fast, but I haven't wanted anything to get in the way of what we were doing in this offseason program, because it's been such a short period. And like I said, for great reason, but it's been such a short period. And other than that, I'll open it up. You guys can ask whatever you want. I look at some of those polls. The one I looked at in depth last night was the Dick Vitale one. And did I write down the numbers? Maybe I didn't. The only one I don't get in any of those polls is how far down they have Wisconsin. I wouldn't be good at the polls, I guess, because I'd have them in the top 3 to 5. And that's where I think they're at. But Vitale's, obviously, he got Kentucky on there. He had us. He has Michigan, Michigan State. We could potentially see NC State or North Carolina potentially in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Then you've got Wisconsin down the line. You've got Butler in that group. We could see UCLA. We could see Georgetown. We could see Georgia. You know, the people that we could end up playing. It doesn't even include Ohio State, and who's going to be a highly ranked team. I mean, when you really start to think about it, we're in the mix with I'm glad we're in the mix, but we're in the mix with a lot of really good teams. And again, it's the offseason, and it's the expectations that they have in each other, for one another, and because of each other, that I think really drive your team. And it's one thing that you expect something out of yourself, or you expect something out of a teammate. Because you're together and those expectations rise, that's another level. I think we're heading there. So again, it's going to be what the work that they're willing to put in. But as far as when it goes with recruiting, there's no question that it doesn't hurt. Pete.
If you end up getting another assistant, Calvert State, what attributes do you like to see in an assistant?
Fit. We've got great chemistry. I had as good a staff, and I had some great coaches. I mean, Benny was the 9th guy to go off and become a head coach in my time as a head coach. And we've had some great staffs and great coaches, and last year, from top to bottom, was as good as I've ever been around, when you start to include everybody that's a part of this. And so fit is really big. Compatibility goes obviously into fit. There's certain things that we would want. Recruiting certainly plays a part in this. Player development plays a huge part in this. I think because the staff is so strong, any coach that comes in has got to be able to hold his own, because this is a program where you would never walk in and just see 1 or 2 assistant coaches just standing on the side, not being involved in practice. If you coach her, you're involved, and it's the way that's the way I was raised, and that's exactly the way I would want it. I would never ever be able to work with a wallflower. I wouldn't be able to do that, and there's got to be too much energy and enthusiasm and intensity and teaching ability going on. So those are big things, and I think past experiences would play into it. But this is not a situation anymore. I'm way past going the stranger route, going the recommendation route, going we've heard good things about them and they've got a good track record, but we really don't know them. I've not done well with that, and so really we're in a situation where there'll be familiarity will be a factor inside it as well.